Hi, I'm Ben, and this is We're Done Pretending, a Reflective Rebels podcast. If your days define you instead of the other way around, if you're doing everything for everyone else whilst drifting through your own existence, then this is for you. Today, with me on the sofa is someone who's putting down their mask to share what's actually happening in their life. Not the polished LinkedIn version, but the honest truth about struggle and joy and mess and meaning. By listening, I hope you'll feel less alone in whatever you're going through. Maybe learn something about yourself and find the courage to make changes that feel good. Because we want more than just coping. We want a life that feels like ours. Let's listen to a fellow human. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, it's lovely. I always start somewhere a little unexpected just to get us into the conversation. Mm-hmm. So let's start with, what's your favourite day of the week?
Oh, gosh. I don't know if I have a favourite day. I think I like a Friday when everything is kind of like, okay, now we've done the whole school week. I know that usually on Saturday I can sleep in. I will not have the alarm on. And things are, calming down a bit. Although with the job that I do, I work on Saturdays sometimes.
Nice. So what happens then? You've done a school pickup, and then describe a Friday evening in your house.
Oh, gosh. It's never the same. We're all a bit chaotic, I think. So I'd get my smallest child from school and probably argue about something on the way home.
Yes.
She's as fiery as her mom. And then we would head home and if there's anything going on, like sometimes she asks to go see a friend, so we might drop in on a friend, or we'll just head home because we're all tired. And there's some Fridays I'll get like something from the fish and chip shop, chips, or for the kids anyway. And then we just go in and all just chill out.
Just collapse.
Yeah. Although if I have a wedding the next day, then I would probably be sorting all that and getting, my outfit and things ready. But yeah, when there isn't, then we all just, I don't know, watch TV or play games on our phone or just boring things like that.
Just normal.
Yeah, normal
stuff.
life. Yeah. Normal life.
And what are you watching on telly at the moment? What's the
many
TV show in the house?
So many. I am currently watching Big Brother. Judge me if you like, it's fine. But
I'm going to judge.
I'm watching, over the years I've watched it on and off, but I'm currently watching because two of my friends are watching, so then it's always such a good way to have conversation.
To chat about, yeah.
And we always have loads to chat about, but this just means, there's an extra bit because I know they love it, so I thought let's watch. And then I'm watching Strictly with my middle child. I know you like Strictly as well, yeah. So we just watched it yesterday. Not yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday's. It's not an eviction, is it? What do you call it? I'm thinking of Big Brother.
They do a dance-off thing.
Yeah,
yes,
the dance-off, yeah.
That's a mashup of two reality TV shows.
Oh gosh, I keep saying the wrong thing. So even my daughter tells me, "Mom, you're using the wrong terms for the wrong TV shows." So yeah, it's whoever they threw off the show, and for a second we really thought they were going to throw off someone really good, and we're like, "No, what are they doing?" But so her and I are watching that, and then I watch a fair few documentaries, usually about crime. Some autobiography types. At the minute, I'm just about to start one that it's Ben Stiller doing about his mom and dad. So I'm actually looking forward to watching that. But yeah, I watch a whole range. I don't just watch one thing.
I can't understand the fascination with crime documentaries. Please enlighten me. What is it about watching those things that grips you and grips people?
I don't know. I think I've heard that mostly women.
Yeah, my wife loves them.
Yeah, I don't know either. I guess it'd be interesting to see
research
or something. Yeah, a study on it. But I am also quite fascinated. So there's certain things that first of all, way back I used to watch CSI, which is just a a fake show, of course. But there was something about it. It was like, oh, that crime and finding out who did it and things like that. And often when I've watched even just films nowadays, it's like within the first 15, 20 minutes, I can tell, I'm like, oh, I know who did it. I know the plot, the whole thing. And maybe they're making them easier nowadays. I don't know. But watching actual true crime, that's even more fascinating because it doesn't work like the films.
Yeah. It's not a neat little story tied up in a bow.
Yeah. And actually some of the like I like these really full length documentaries which are about crime. So they're not just your half-hour episode. They're really quite in-depth. They tell the story. And those are really, really fascinating to me because there's the victim story especially is usually focused on. And then also you learn how everything works, how the police work and how lawyers work and how all of those, you see certain aspects of that. So that's fascinating to me, like knowing what people are like. And I guess you're going to find out what people are really like when you watch crime. Yeah. And there's so many types of crime. So there's a lot of crime to watch. Although I do watch other things too, not
Strictly.
just crime.
Like
Random Strictly, or comedies. And then now and again I just need a comedy. I need a comedy to watch to, like you said, balance it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that could be anything really as well. Crime comedy. No, I'm kidding. I don't.
I'm trying to think of a crime comedy.
No, there's a police one. I can't even remember the name of it now, and they're a comedy. Crime comedy. You've got to make fun of things, I guess. So yeah,
we have. Yeah, especially the serious stuff. So you mentioned weddings in there as well. Weddings on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, or Saturday.
Or a Saturday. Yeah. What role do you play in people's weddings?
So I am the person who stands at the front of the ceremony and I lead the ceremony. It's really, really fascinating work to do. It took me quite a lot of years to figure out what I love doing. And so I've been doing that for about 4.5 years now. And it's also, it's not the easy part because I've done events and that's tough work. So,
You mean organize?
Yeah, organizing the events.
Nightmare.
So when I do my celebrant work, it's great because I go, I can just come and do that bit. Hang around, for like the celebratory drinks and all that and then head off, if I want to. So, but I know just how hard everybody else is working, especially, the people organizing, because I've done that and I know what that's like. But yeah, this is different. I mean, there's a lot of hard work in the, behind the scenes with what I do. So even though I will arrive at someone's wedding or ceremony, because I don't just do weddings, I do other ceremonies, then I have done a lot of work behind the scenes to make that happen on that day. So yeah.
So you said it took you a long time to work out what you wanted to do.
Yeah, like I figured out in my 40s, I guess, what I wanted to do. I don't know. I've just done a range when I've told my story, my life story in various types of situations, like at talks or, so I've had to sit down and write down all the things I've done, all the places I've lived. And I realized that I've done quite a lot of different jobs, and almost all of those I did for about 1.5 years. I think the maximum time was about not even 3 years until I've been a celebrant. So this is the longest I've...
We're at 4.5 years.
Yeah, exactly. So that's pretty good. But it's not, I mean, I don't feel like that's a bad thing. When I look at it, I go, oh, yeah, there's a lot of... like if I was to write a CV and they go, what the hell?
5 pages long.
I know. What things do I leave out? Or what things do I include? Yeah, so it's a lot of things. I've worked in where I always say that I first ever started with McDonald's, but that's not even true. I started doing a job at my dad's workshop. So he had a garage, or he still does actually. And when I left school, I said, right, I'm leaving school, that's it. And he said, well, you can't just stay at home and do nothing. You have to get a job. And I was like, fine, that's fine. I will get a job. But he said, well, while you're finding a job, then you'll have to come and work with me. And I was like, great, okay. So that was a really good push, because I went, I'm not working with you for long. That's not going to happen. So
that was your incentive.
Yeah. It was definitely like, go for it. But I knew that I definitely did not want to be at school. So I knew that I would, really push myself anyway. But that was a further incentive for sure.
So how old are you at this point then?
I would have been, I think, 18 or 19 about then. So yeah, I can't remember, to be fair. Probably 18 or 19.
And where in the world are we? Because you mentioned different places as well as different jobs.
Yeah, I was in Portugal. At that point, yeah.
So is that where you grew up?
No.
Okay.
I grew up in Southern Africa. But yeah, a mix. So I was born in Zimbabwe originally, and then at 8 moved to South Africa. I started school in Zimbabwe initially, so I'd probably done like 1 year or something like that. And then, no, I would have done at least 2 or 3 years, to be fair, more than. And then moved to South Africa and did all the rest of my schooling in South Africa, almost. And then at 16, when I had 1 year left, like of secondary, then we moved to Portugal. Which is why it got to a point where I went, I really hate school in Portugal. It's so terrible. And I guess I was quite judgmental about it. I just thought, this is terrible education. They're really bad compared to what I had. I had a really good education in South Africa. So when I went to Portugal, I went, this is rubbish. What am I doing here? So I mostly just didn't go to school, sign my own, notes of absence, as you do. And then I went, what is even the point? I'm hardly at school. I can't be bothered to do any of the work. I just hated it. So I said, I'm leaving. So I ended up not finishing high school or secondary school, like they say here. And and then started, I guess, my working life from them.
Let's go back, because I grew up, well, my first few years were in Wolverhampton till I was about 5, and then rural Cumbria. So I'd love to know what a childhood in Zimbabwe and South Africa is like, because that's, so different to me and what my experience was like, and probably for a lot of the listeners, what their childhood experiences were like. And we've probably got some stereotypical or whatever, ideas about what that means, but tell us what it was actually like for you.
Yeah. I'd say life in Zimbabwe, I don't remember loads of it because I was still 8. Yeah. But there's certain aspects of it. I remember a very carefree life. We were out in the garden all the time, or just outdoors, climbing trees. One of my favorite memories is playing hide and seek with my sister, who was like 4 years younger than me. So she must have been 2 or something, 2 or 3. And she couldn't find me ever. Obviously, she's found me now because it's been many years. But she couldn't find me because I'd climbed up the tree so high that she couldn't even see me looking down from the ground. So, I loved climbing trees and just being outdoors all the time. It was very hot. So the ground at times would be cracked.
Yeah.
So if you've ever seen those pictures where the ground is like, the sand is really dry and cracked, that's we lived in quite a dry part of Zimbabwe as well. And then, wildlife was like a normal thing too. So we'd had to be careful of snakes. That was just normal life. There'd be snakes around. And a lot of different types of beetles and things like that. We'd have to watch out for the wild pigs. What were they called again? I can't remember now, but there's a certain type of wild pig that, they could kill a child. So you had to really be careful of those. Mongoose. I remember being terrified of mongoose. And now I've seen pictures. I'm like, they're so cute. But I was like a very small child. So I guess I was like, oh God, they could totally take me. But you don't have anything like that here. You know, you go outside and yes, there's wildlife, of course, but nothing.
There's nothing you need to be mindful.
No, you don't have to worry that you're probably going to die from some kind of wildlife. It's very unlikely. You didn't really think of it. You didn't think.
It was normal, I suppose.
Yeah, it was normal. I felt scared of snakes at times, I guess, when I was younger. But when you just know what you're supposed to look for, then you kind of just get used to it. South Africa was quite similar as well. There's a lot of wildlife, depends where you lived. So I always talk about one of the favorite places I lived there, because we did move around a lot there too. But before we moved away from South Africa, we lived on the East Coast, like further up than Durban. So everyone knows, or a lot of people have heard of Durban at least. And we're about 2 hours north of that, heading towards like Mozambican border, that kind of thing. And it was properly in the bush, like we call it out there. And you had even more wildlife. So you'd have, monkeys. In the place we'd go to the beach, because there was a beach nearby. It was about 20 minutes drive from where we lived. You'd have sharks in the sea. You'd have crocodiles in the estuary. You'd have hippos. And again, I don't remember ever feeling scared of that. You just lived your life. You just knew there's dangers. You look out, you kind of live sensibly, I guess. But yeah, and we were outdoors and I love it. I loved it so much, being outdoors. And here I felt it much harder because it's so cold all the time.
Yeah, the weather's a bit different.
Yeah, so you have to wrap up. I mean, I could wear shorts and flip-flops like all the time. And that was, my favorite outfit, just getting your shorts and flip-flops or bare feet. It was great. So you're a very different life than here.
Yeah. And then you ended up in Portugal.
Yes, we did.
Sort of mid-teens?
Yeah, I was 16 when we moved over. That was huge, like really traumatic for me, I think. So I've talked about it on a blog that I write as well, because I felt like I really have to talk about it still. So I often will talk about it, especially when it's the anniversary of us moving over to Portugal. And it was such there was so many aspects of it that made it traumatic. So while still in South Africa, knowing I was finishing my second last year of high school, going into my final year, I had, a close friend group. I had a boyfriend. I was just really enjoying my life. It was one of my favorite places that we'd moved to in South Africa that I really, really liked. And my dad had gone off to Portugal in beginning of September in 1993. And he came back at the end of September. Him and a friend had gone. And they went, okay, well, we're all moving to Portugal. We're like, it was a huge shock. And we were all like, what? But we also knew we had no say.
Yeah.
My dad said we're going, and that was that. And and not only that, we were going to go in January. So it was just a few months. So it was all, it was like get packed, sell things, etc. My dad built these crates in our living room, these wooden crates so we could put stuff in, and those crates would then go onto the shipping containers. Yeah. And I basically just cried every single day until we left. It was really heartbreaking. I really, really did not want to go. And so when we got there, it was the middle of summer in South Africa and the middle of winter in Portugal. And even though Portugal's hot compared to England, it is not hot compared to South Africa at all. So, we arrived middle of winter, not even really suitable clothing. We had arrived with a family that had lived with us for about a month, because that was the family who were also moving over with their dad had gone with my dad. So we all came over together. And then once we arrived at Lisbon airport, we said goodbye to them. So that was another okay, bye. Now who do we have? It's just us. And then we drove up to Porto. So that's in the north of Portugal. And then that started our life in Portugal. and I hated it. I really, really, really hated it. And then I hated it for quite a few years. I mean, yeah, there was good aspects to it. You know, I learned Portuguese. I had always wanted to learn Portuguese anyway. Side note, my dad's Portuguese anyway. But we'd only learnt swear words, I guess, up to that point. So I knew those. That was all. And probably how to say hello. So we had, my dad's sister lives there, and his parents, they also lived there at the time. And so, yeah, we had some family, but we'd never met them before. So we, you know, went and did all the visits of meeting all the family. And straight away they were like, okay, well, the kids need to get into school. You know, they can't just sit around doing nothing. So we hung out at my aunt's house quite a fair bit. So that helped us learn Portuguese. And my aunt, who I adore her so much, she's amazing. She helped me learn Portuguese from, you know, those little baby books, those children's baby books, which is great because I learned the proper grammar and how to actually speak Portuguese, where my brother and sister didn't have that. They just learned, you know, like the street slang.
Just from picking it up. Yeah.
So they had a much more dirty Portuguese than I had, I guess. So they can shout at me if they like, but it was true. And obviously their Portuguese will be much better than mine now because they've lived there for the whole time.
So they've stayed there.
Yeah, they had stayed.
Portugal.
But yeah, so I had a really good foundation to learn Portuguese, which was helpful. But yeah, it took a really long time to integrate into life there because I hated it so much.
How does it feel then to be dropped into that, other than hate? What's going on for teenage you?
I think I definitely fell into depression, I guess. I mean, I wouldn't know how else to explain. I didn't know that at the time. I just knew that I wasn't happy. I did make some fellow South African friends. There was a lot of other South Africans who are also part Portuguese who'd kind of moved over. So we kind of hung out. But that didn't help because they wouldn't be the type of people I would hang out with normally. They were just also South Africans who could also speak English. And yeah, so I think I was just quite down, you know, which is also why I ended up leaving school, because I felt like I described it in quite an extreme way. I just said, if I don't leave school, then you'll find me in a ditch somewhere, because I didn't feel like, okay, I want to die or suicidal thoughts. I don't remember that specifically, but I knew that I just didn't care about life anymore. And actually being at school was making that worse as well. So once I could find my own way, either through work or just finding other people that I could be friends with that were my people, then that helped. And it didn't bring me out of it completely, but I was like, okay, I can settle if I want to, you know.
There's some possibilities.
Yeah. But yeah, it was almost like a weird mix of dark years with some good in there as well, you know. It wasn't all terrible completely. There was positives to it. But yeah, it was hard. It was hard, really hard.
Tell us about the good stuff. What was the good stuff that was mixed in there?
So I worked at my aunt's cafe for a while. So she had a coffee shop, which again helped really, with the Portuguese, which is great. And I met, you know, so many random people. I get some really great tips. I'd be like, why are you giving me, like an example, they'd give me like £10 tip or something. And I go, you know, are you feeling okay? Like, you're great. You're so much, you know, they would always, people found it really good to chat to me. So I really enjoyed that experience. And then we'd also do, during summers, we'd have really long summers. They have like at least 3 months of summer during middle of school, you know. And we would have to get a bus to the beach. So even if anyone could drive, it wouldn't have took that long to drive to the beach. But there wasn't anyone who could drive. And there was only this one bus that would go first thing in the morning and then come back like after 6 p.m. at night. and it would leave at 6 a.m. So we were all these teenagers who were like, oh, for God's sake, wow. But we were determined, like we want to go to the beach. So we would happily wake up super early to go to the beach. And those are some of my favorite memories because, yes, a lot of them were those South African people that I met, but we'd all hang out at the beach. There'd be like, 15, 20 of us. We'd play volleyball or literally just hang out at the beach for 12 hours, and that was really good fun. And then I remember one of the summers my aunt went, I'd had to help her more in the cafe, so she was paying me, so fair enough. But I'd go to the cafe for the 6 a.m. and then my friends were at the bus stop going to the beach. I'm like, it's just
you're watching them.
I want to go to the beach too. So I try to make sure I had a mix of that so that I still could go to the beach. I had a boyfriend as well for a period of time. And that was good while that lasted. What else was good? Finding my job at McDonald's was good too.
Yeah, let's move to that then.
Yeah.
So you did a bit time in the workshop. How long were you there? You said you wanted to be out quick. How long?
Just 3 months. So pretty good going. That was the first time I'd ever did admin as well. So I was pretty good at that actually. And random errands of things, running about here and there. Also though, because it's a workshop and lots of guys would come to get their cars fixed, etc. Often like I'd have some or other guy trying to chat me up. And then my dad, being my dad, he'd kind of appear and they go, oh, is that your dad? And I was like, yes, sir. Oh, okay. And then they'd never talk to me again. I was like, great. Thanks, Dad. That's great. Because he could be terrifying. He's like, well, that's my daughter. Like, don't get lost.
Yeah.
So, which is then handy going to McDonald's because I don't have that issue there. But yeah, at McDonald's, I found a group of people who were just, probably just like me, all Portuguese who, were properly Portuguese, like they grew up there, lived there, their whole lives. So I made some really good friends with them. And I only was contracted for like part-time hours, like about 2.5 hours, like a really stupid, like a 2.5 hours a day thing. So because of it, and because I didn't have the extra hours, and I would just volunteer for any time. They were like, anyone else can work? Yes.
You would do it.
So in the end, often I was working like 13-hour days at McDonald's, and it was great because I could, buy my own stuff, whatever I wanted. I paid for my own driving license, which, even nowadays they cost a lot, don't they? And they did then too. Plus you had to do a lot of like lessons before you could do your test. So it was super handy because I'm like, oh, I can pay for all of this myself. It's great. So yeah, I just worked every single hour that I could. And often it meant I'd be finishing at like 2 or something in the morning. And then as a group of friends, we would all go to the cinema. That's random, I know. But Portugal, they do different things differently there. So sometimes
we can go to the cinema at 2 o'clock in the morning.
We go to the cinema. We went and watched Starship Troopers. Oh my God, the most stupid movie ever. If you watch this, yeah, right. I mean, if you like it, no judgment. But it really is such a stupid
Says the person watching Big Brother.
True. You've got to watch the stupid ones too, though, don't you? So we watched one of the, I can't remember all the other films we would have watched at stupid o'clock, but definitely that one. I don't know. It was one of those kind of core memories of us just randomly being at the cinema at like 2 a.m. watching Starship Troopers. God. And years later I saw it. I'm like, oh my God, yes. I watched this in Portugal many years ago. Oh yeah. So just random things like that. They, those are the good memories of there, So definitely was, I'd say there's always good, even when there's bad stuff, for sure. So
yeah, I think that's important, isn't it?
Yeah.
I talk about joy, but it doesn't mean the absence of crap stuff.
Yeah,
it just
exactly.
means being able to enjoy those moments when good stuff is happening.
Yeah, for sure.
Those small random moments of being in the cinema at 2 o'clock in the morning. Just a quick pause. At Reflective Rebels, I'm on a mission to spread joy. I create these podcast conversations because I think we're all hungry for something real. Not advice, not quick fixes, just honest human stories that remind us we're not alone in the mess. If this conversation is making you feel something, would you help me grow the rebellion and share it with just one person who might need to hear it? Maybe someone who's also tired of pretending everything's fine. Because every person who finds these stories makes this little rebellion against perfectionism and exhaustion a little bit stronger. Back to our conversation. Wind us through then. We probably can't talk about every job because it sounds like there's quite a few, but let's take some of the highlights between McDonald's and Celebrant to work out how we get from that young girl at working at McDonald's.
One of another really a favorite job that I had was running a toddler group. So I know usually toddler groups are quite a small affair, if you like. I don't know if you've been or taken your kids.
Yeah.
But this toddler group was quite a big toddler group. So it had ran for about 20 odd years by the time I came along. It was ran out of a church building. The church people ran it. And it was 3 mornings a week. It had about up to 30 people each day. So that's 30 adults plus kids. It was a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday thing. I wasn't looking for this job at all. I wasn't even looking for a job at the time. I was married, and my then husband, he needed a placement for his theology course at uni. And so that would be a church.
Yeah.
And so they asked him, questions about himself, questions about me, because that is what they do anyway with a church placement. They need to know obviously what the couple are like, not just the person getting the job. So when we came along, they also interviewed me, if you like. And they were basically, because they knew of some of the things I'd done up to that point, they were kind of like, well, we sort of want to know for sure if you'll run our toddler group so that we could give him the job. I was like, okay. It was such a random one. I was like, oh, okay. Obviously you've liked the things I've done up to that point. So, and I said, yeah, I'll do it. Essentially they wanted me to, run the whole group. So be someone who could be there on every day, manage it all, be part of the committee, that whole thing. I was up for the challenge. I thought it was great. And I really, really loved that job. It was amazing. I mean, it did include things like singing the wheels on the bus. And I really hate repetitive stuff. So singing the wheels on the bus or the Music Man, which I hate even more than the wheels on the bus. Those were fun, joy. But I did so many things with that job. So many, you can't just there's not one aspect to it. So I was like managing 9 volunteers at one point. I was making sure that the groups ran well. So if there was little aspects that I was like, oh, that doesn't really work, let's change that up. So I was figuring out how to make them better. I had started up the waiting list, and I would manage that. Obviously, I'd sit on the committee to, decide who could volunteer and etc. Various things, how we would raise any funds. And then I also, because the 25-year anniversary was coming up, I ended up running and, managing the whole event of a 25-year kind of anniversary party for that. So there was a lot of aspects to things I could do running that group, and I could take my kids. So I had 2 kids at that point. And while I was doing the group, I got pregnant with my second child. And then after I had her, I could just bring her along.
She could go to work.
Yeah. So she just, I could take my kids to work with me. It was great. And she was super independent. She was crawling at 5 months, for goodness sake. So she was off and I'd be, oh, where's my kid? She's somewhere, she's fine. So it was just great. There were so many reasons why it was such a good job, and it's gave me a lot of skills for what I do as well. Like I got to talk to so many moms. I wasn't looking after anyone's kids because I did not want to do that. Parents would come with their kids, so they would look after them. But it meant I would talk to so many, moms and dads, and I knew a lot of people. So anytime we'd go out and about, people would say hello. And my husband was like, how many people do you know? And I'm like, just everybody, too many people. And also just seeing the kids grow up and go to school and, you know, yeah, it was good. I loved it. Really, really loved it.
Sense of community seems to be a theme. Those friends at McDonald's, you know, the community that you found in those parents, people to talk to, people to share experiences with. Is that sort of fair?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the themes of my life is making sure there's community around me, because that's where I thrive. And having moved so many times, then I make sure I either somehow create community or I get involved, I get stuck in so that I am known here or there, or, you know, to find the people so I have community around me. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So you think you learned to do that at quite a young age? Because you said even in South Africa you were moving a lot.
Yeah. So up till I moved to Carlisle, moving like towns, villages, places, I moved almost every 3 years. So that was a good 30 odd years. I moved every 3 years. So it was very normal to just, let's go now. We did live one place for 4 years, but even then we at one point moved somewhere else for 3 months and then came back. And then, yes, my longest place to ever live is actually in Carlisle. So
how long have you been here now?
I've been in Carlisle for like 15 years. But saying that, I've also moved a heck of a lot of times. So in the city, out of the city, around the city. So I've kind of kept the moving thing alive. But yeah, it was very normal to just move a lot. So I guess I learned, well, actually, if I don't kind of go and meet the people and do the thing, then I'm not going to meet the people that I resonate with.
How do you do that then? Because I was, listening to something just yesterday on the radio about loneliness, being so prevalent in the world today.
Yeah.
How do you go about finding a community, finding people, finding friends? Tell us your secrets.
Oh, I don't know. I do remember quite a turning point for that. So when I was older, I guess when I was younger, I was really shy. I wouldn't really talk to people. I was super, super shy, or whatever the actual proper word for that is. I guess it's more that you kind of hold on, who are these people? Let me kind of assess. And I do that a lot. But when I was in Portugal, and because I wasn't really finding my people, then one of the days when I had finished work at McDonald's, I'd gone to the bus stop and I thought, how am I going to find people? I just don't have people that I really, really want to hang out with. I felt lonely. And so I just thought, I have to talk to people. And so from that day, which I can still picture myself.
Just had a conversation in your head.
Yeah. And I just went, no, I need to talk to people. And then that was it. I just talked to people. And I have been told by others that they're like, how do you do that? You just go up to people and then just talk to them. I mean, I could talk to people in the queue at the shop, anywhere really, and just find some common ground. A friend of mine who is a coach as well said that to me. They said, yeah, you really use that, harness that, because you're good at finding connection with people. So kind of like what you do with this, you're kind of figuring out what are the bits and how does that connect.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I guess it's a skill I've honed over the years. I couldn't tell you exactly how, because it was the bus stop where I discovered it and then just carried on.
Thank you, bus stop.
Yeah.
Spend more time at bus stops.
Yeah,
Exactly. Maybe that's the secret.
Have a talk in your mind.
Have a talk with yourself.
Yeah.
And just do it, I suppose.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Some days I don't want to talk to people, so I don't. But yeah, I don't know. It's just this. It's not even like the speaking on stage type of thing. It is just finding something that you connect with people, you know. And I don't know how I do it. I'd have to actually sit down and, or maybe assess each time I go and
try
talk.
And work it out.
Yeah. I can't tell you. When I find out what the secret is, I'll let you know.
You're going to share it.
Yeah.
How about now then, in terms of, so from external appearances, then you seem more settled, both in your job and in the place, than ever before. What's different? What's shifted? Are you settled? Is that the right word to use?
No. So, where do I start? I would have moved away from here quite some time ago, but yeah, various things have meant I've had to stay. But that's not my choice. It wasn't my choice. So we'd randomly moved here because of my husband. So I was still married at the time when we moved here. And we'd come here because he had a lot of family that live in Carlisle. Mm-hmm. So we're like, actually, we don't have family anywhere else. He had family in another country. I had family in another country. So yeah, let's come here, you know. And we came here, thought, let's start a business, you know, let's settle. And then at the end of that first year of living here, we got divorced. And after a little while, both of us, even though we're now divorced, not living in the same house, that whole thing, not really talking either, we were both like, why are we living here? We should move. And then we had wanted to. He thought actually if he moved somewhere, because he was more likely to get a much more higher paying job than I would have at the time. So we discussed that and we thought about it, but then he got ill and so we couldn't. And then he ended up passing away, and that was like 10 years ago now. So yeah, we'd stayed, and I knew that I'd saved up money and so on, or I was trying to save up some money. And I thought, well, once I get to a certain point, and I was waiting for whichever bit, one of my daughters was going to probably be finishing a certain year at school. And I thought, well, once they've done that, then we can go. And then I met someone else. And even though we talked about also moving, etc., I then quickly realized, oh no, they actually probably wouldn't move at all, even though they said, yeah, we would. But I realized, no, they wouldn't. So we didn't move still. And then after, again, not being with that person, then I still couldn't move anywhere because of various things that happened with that. So yeah, I've just still, I've had this urge to let me go somewhere. I don't know where either, but maybe it is just because of growing up and moving so much. I don't know, but I feel like I'm supposed to be somewhere else, but I don't know how that's going to look or when that's going to happen. So,
and is that how it's felt each time you've moved? A sort of pull?
Yeah. It's a very strange feeling. Like if there's very few people who know what that feels like, because most people that I speak to don't know what that feels like. They haven't moved a lot, or even if they have, they also don't really necessarily. And there is a weird kind of like, it's time to go. So there's been points where I felt like, yes, it's time to go, but I know that I can't. So I've had to kind of go, this is where I'm, you know, settle in. I put roots down, you know, I build community. So I just get stuck in wherever I am. But then it gets to a point where I'm going, it's time to go. And I kind of just, something, you know, it'll come at some point, and then I just got to wait.
So how are you sort of squaring that at the moment? Or
at the moment,
dealing with it, or what? Yeah. What are you doing?
Well, there was a point about 2 or so or 3 years ago where I was like, oh, let's research some places with my girls, because obviously they would be part of that decision. I wouldn't just be like, let's go, because because I wouldn't do that.
Repeating the pattern.
Yeah, no. Obviously, when they were younger, we kind of had to at points because they were little, but they're very, they're older now and they have their say as well. So we kind of looked into things, but then just because of some stuff that was going on, been going through court for a few years, so I couldn't go anywhere. So I've had to just kind of put that on a shelf and go, well, I'll just leave it for now.
Leave it.
Yeah. So there's no plans. There's not like, I can't say, yes, I know I'm going, or this is going to happen at this time. I'm just kind of leaving it up to the universe. And when it is the right time, it'll be the right time. Yeah. So just trust in that and then see what happens.
How about that bringing us, sort of full circle to the celebrant role, the longest job you've ever had?
Yeah.
What feels right about that? What made you choose that as a career, if you like, 4.5 years ago, and what feels right about it?
So further than 4.5 years ago, and let me think, probably 8 years ago, I'd heard someone talking about it and I went, that's so cool. That's like really fascinating. I didn't know this job existed. And I thought, I have such random life experiences that would be great for that kind of work. At the time, I couldn't really pursue it. So it was one of those that was just parked on the shelf waiting. And then my granny passed away and I went, she was down in Kent. So I went down to Kent, had a hangout with family for 2 weeks to sort her funeral and do all that. And it ended up that I basically organized her whole funeral and then was like, right, who's going to talk? Who's going to say anything? And my mom said she would do a poem, but nobody else in the family wanted to speak or say anything. And I thought, well, Granny can't just go with no one telling her story or talking about her at her funeral, of all times. And my granny had a pretty tough life for various reasons. And I had such an affinity with her. So it felt right that it was me that would tell her story. So I went and wrote up, the things I could write up that I knew about her, asked the rest of the family to kind of put their 2 cents worth in. And then I stood up and told her story at her funeral. And then that day afterwards at my cousin's house, we were all having our tea and coffee and so on. I said to my cousin, this is it. I'm going to be a celebrant. Granny made me become a celebrant. But yeah, that was it. It was set in my mind for sure. And so then I properly researched it, started following lots of celebrants to figure out how it all works and what happens. I didn't have savings, but the job that I was doing at the time meant I could use some of that money to do some training. So I did some training and then, but it took me still another 2 years until that all came about. And then it was in 2021, during COVID and all that.
Yeah, good timing.
Yeah, but because of all kinds of other things too, like my youngest was, she was going to nursery and I'd been like on benefits as well as like doing part-time work at home. Then I was like, I'm going to have to sort something out because I need work now, because they'll be like, well, now you've got to get back to work because your kid's a certain age and that kind of thing. So yeah, I just got on with it and started my business. And I love it so much. I really, really love it. It incorporates all the things that I really love, like meeting people, learning people's stories, building those connections from people anywhere. It's not just one place. They're from all over the world, really.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And, an interesting origin story, if you like, from a place of sadness and grief and loss.
Yeah.
A kind of realization of, no, this is something I want to do.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of say, blame my granny for,
yeah.
But she would think that's great. She would be like, I'm proud of you. So yeah. And also because of some of her story and how tough her life was and the fact that she didn't follow any of her dreams, I feel like that's even more important, to be able to let me push for that so that I'm following my dreams and really, pushing to do something that I love, so then my girls can also see that and they can do similar and not just kind of do, what do they call it? Is it status quo? Everybody kind of thinks, well, you got to, finish school and go to uni and find a partner and get married and have kids and all that rubbish. And I'm not here for that. So but I also want to make sure that we do the thing and not just not do the thing, because that's what's happened in our family for a long time, and I want to change that. Yeah.
I always have these questions where I don't quite know how to ask them. So if it's a crap question, you can tell me. I'm interested in, I suppose, your sense of identity then. The identity that comes from the story you've told of many places, of many roles, of single motherhood, of, all those things. Who are you at this point now, and what's your sense of identity built on, and who is that? What a crap question.
No, that's fine. Go.
Discuss.
Discuss amongst yourself. Oh gosh, who am I?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's also like huge question. Yeah, sometimes you have to like muddle through the question to find what you want to say. Yeah, that's fine. That's kind of what I do most of the time. Just muddle through until you find it. I'd have to muddle through to find the answer.
Go on, have a go.
Who am I? The me now is very different to the me many years ago. So I've had so many like of these formative things that have happened, so many moments of like big moments when I look back, and they almost seem like, oh yeah, they're just things that happened in my life. But when I really sit and think about it, I think, oh, they've really made me who I am now and who I am today, sitting here talking to you. I am a strong, confident woman who knows what she wants. And I think when I was younger, I was almost like, oh God, the world is so big and scary. And also for a long time, like 5-year-old me was kind of running the show. And so this person that people would see, especially if people met me at networking and things at a certain point in my life, they were seeing a person that I was like, why are they seeing this person? Why are they seeing this, almost weak, she needs help, this kind of, and I think that is not me. But I think I had to kind of get through some other things to kind of figure out, oh, actually 5-year-old me doesn't need to run the show anymore. Adult me actually knows what she's doing, and she can run the show and she can be the strong, confident woman that she is. But I always had that within me. I've always been someone who is like quite vocal about what she thinks. I say the things that other people don't say. I always get those looks, like, oh gosh, you said that. I'm like, yeah, I said that. But yeah, it took me a while to kind of really lean into who I really, really am. And now, even if people don't see that, then that's fine with me. I'm like, well, you probably don't matter that much in my life. But yeah, I don't even know. I don't know if there would be like a title for it. Theresa. I'm Theresa. Yeah, it's a hard.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes, it is unique, isn't it?
Yeah. There's people who are drawn to me, and I think then they kind of go, oh, they see that.
They see Theresa.
They see Theresa, and then I'm kind of like, even my oldest daughter, she often is kind of like, well, Mom, you're a badass bitch. And I'm like, yeah, oh, I am actually. Thanks for that. Because I kind of forget sometimes. And especially when I think of things that I've really had to overcome, or things that I've really had to just keep going through when they've been really, really, really difficult. And I wouldn't have gone through, I wouldn't have been able to push through or do those things if I hadn't had this kind of life behind me. It's kind of helped me get through the things that I've had to. But yeah, it's hard to explain who you are. Or
yeah, it's a crap question. I did preface it with this is a crap question, but here we go, I'm asking anyway.
It's not crap. It's good. It's challenging. It's a challenging.
Challenging, thank you.
We need to go to some meditation to kind of think.
I think there's a really important point in there for listeners who might be at their own low points or challenging points or points of loss or whatever, you know, that they can be really formative, and they are parts of our stories that lead us to wherever we we are right
wherever
now.
We end up,
And you've sort of been able to pull those in and use them as a strength to be the badass bitch you are, and not let them sort of define you, but let you define them. Define your own story.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, it's part of owning your story.
Yeah.
Even the really shitty things, like not just the shit things that happen to us, but the shit things that we do as well. Because sometimes we're like, oh God.
Yeah, sometimes it's us.
You're like, oh God, I'm so embarrassed about that. But then I just talk about them because I go, well, it's part of my story. It's just embrace it, almost. But like I said, the younger me wouldn't have. She would have really shied away from all that and kind of been like, oh, let me be in a shell, let me not be seen. And now I want to be seen. Even if it seems arrogant, but it isn't arrogant.
It's not arrogant.
No, but it's always often like if women are confident, then that comes across as something else, isn't it? And I'm like, no, it isn't that at all. It's just, I've stepped into my adult shoes, and like properly living my life.
Amazing. So you've hinted at this a little earlier, but I'd like to sort of finish with what's next. And maybe you don't know, but what's next for Badass Theresa?
What's next? That's another challenging question. Well, actually, so I've said already, I'm writing a blog, so I'm changing that up a little bit. I've wanted to be a bit bolder with the things that I write. There's some things that I kind of shy away from writing, and it's not because I don't want to write them or talk about them, it's because certain people might read them. And then I've kind of thought, oh, do I wait? And then I'm like, why? Just write the things. So I want to be bolder with that and just go all out. Just do the thing.
So where can we find that if we want to check it out?
Oh, I'm on Substack, but I couldn't tell you because I can't remember.
Well, I'll put a link in the show notes.
Put a link because I can't remember why. I can't remember what I'm called on there. When you just share it online and you're not like.
I think that's gorgeous that you're doing it purely for the arts.
How funny. Yeah. So there's that one, and then I also celebrant wise. I'm changing that up a bit as well. I've just got some new branding, so that'll be coming up soon, which I'm excited about. And then I'm really going to focus on promoting my website and a newsletter instead of like letting social media take the lead, because we get so bogged down with trying to get so much social media out, and it's just so time consuming and mind consuming. So I'm changing that up. And one of the bigger ones of that is to really talk about life celebrations, because obviously, as I mentioned, I started doing this because of my granny and doing her funeral. And then I've ended up mostly doing weddings and almost being scared of doing funerals, which is, one of those journeys I'm going on. But I'm really, really, really want to focus on doing life celebrations and not just funerals at crematoriums, because I feel like actually there's so many out there who want to celebrate their loved one's life or even decide that that's how they want to go out. And And I want those funerals to be happening, the ones where if you want a flash mob at your funeral, then you are. If you want a choir, if you want, balloons, clapping, whatever it might be, because actually, yes, our person has passed away or died, but we can celebrate their life.
Yeah.
So we should be doing that. And there'll be so much time to grieve anyway, but why not give them one last?
Yeah, well, I've booked you for mine, and we'll have a live band, please, because that sounds fantastic. For our wedding, we had a 9-piece soul band, and we just danced away. So if we could, replicate that.
Do that again for your funeral,
lovely, please.
Not anytime soon, of course.
No.
Yeah.
Consider yourself booked.
But yes, fab, good. So that's what I'm going to focus on, and that's what's next, I guess. Yeah.
I look forward to seeing it.
Fab.
Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me,
It's been
Ben.
really fascinating.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening. If this conversation stirred something in you, I hope you feel you're not alone. Sometimes hearing someone else's story can help us see our own more clearly. Please support the telling of these stories by following or subscribing wherever you're listening to your podcasts. You can visit reflectiverebels.co.uk/newsletter to sign up for honest insights, podcast updates, and events for exhausted humans. And if you're ready for change in your own story, if you want to move from coping to clarity, from performing to living, then drop me an email about coaching. Because we're done pretending everything's fine. We want more than coping. We want a life that feels like ours. Your story isn't over yet. I'm Ben, and this has been We're Done Pretending, a Reflective Rebels podcast.